Hello, everyone. Let me ask you a quick question. Imagine you open your CELPIP speaking task and suddenly you see a really strange picture. Maybe there's a man ironing his clothes in a park or a child walking a pet duck. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Most people immediately start saying, there is a man, there is a park, the weather looks sunny, there are some people, and after about 20 seconds, they're completely out of ideas. Not because their English is weak, but because they are describing what everyone can already see. Think about it. The examiner is also looking at the picture. They already know there's a dog. They already know the woman is smiling. So if you're only describing the obvious, you're not adding much value. Here's the mindset I want you to have today. So, task 8 in self help speaking is not about being the best describer, it's about being the best explainer. Your job is to help the examiner understand the unusual situation by explaining what could mean, how it affects people, and what might happen because of it. So, once you start thinking like that, you will never run out of ideas. And today I'm going to teach you a simple method I personally call the 5 layer thinking method. Got it? So it works with almost every unusual picture you will see in the CELPIP exam. Let's get started. Before we learn the layers, first let's understand why people struggle. Most candidates speak like this. There's a man, he's holding a bicycle, and then they will talk about the bicycle color and how many people are nearby, how the weather looks like. Nothing is technically wrong, but nothing is particularly interesting either, right? Now imagine another candidate. Instead of describing the bicycle, they say bicycle being on the roof is probably surprising everyone nearby because it's something people don't normally see. The owner might be trying to transport it after running out of space inside the car. Who's giving the examiner more information? The second speaker. That's exactly what we want. Got it? So, whenever you see an unusual picture, don't panic. Don't think, what should I say? Instead, you have to think, which layer am I on? So, once you remember the 5 layers, your ideas will flow naturally. Let's go through them one by one. First layer is identify, and the second one is interpret. Third layer is expand. Fourth layer is connect, and the fifth layer is evaluate. So when we talk about the first layer, identify, this is the easiest layer. Simply, you just need to identify what makes the picture unusual. Not every single object, just the unusual part. For example, the most unusual thing in this picture is that a man is standing on the top of his car. That's enough. Notice something? I did not mention the road, the sky, the buildings, the trees because they are not important. Many students waste 20 seconds describing background details. Instead, immediately focus on the part that makes the picture interesting. Think of layer 1 as answering this question: what caught my attention first? That's your starting point. And the second layer, interpret. So here you should ask yourself, what could this situation mean? Not what is happening. Instead, what does this suggest? For example, this probably was not planned. Something unexpected must have happened. It looks like he's trying to solve a problem. Notice that we are no longer describing, we are interpreting. We are giving meaning to the picture, right? So, this immediately makes your response sound more mature. And another example I just wanted to tell you, imagine someone riding a bicycle inside a supermarket. So instead of saying a man is riding a bicycle, you can say it seems like he may be participating in a promotional event or perhaps he's trying to entertain customers. That's interpretation. Okay? Now that you have explained the unusual situation, let's make it bigger. Here you should ask yourself in the third layer, the expand. Okay? How does this affect other people? This is where many candidates stop too early. Remember, the unusual action doesn't happen in isolation, it affects everyone around it. Let's say someone brought a horse into a shopping mall. Don't only talk about the horse, talk about the people. The shoppers probably stopped walking because they were curious. Some children might be excited and want to take pictures. The security staff may be trying to understand what's happening. See what happened? One unusual action, three different reactions. Suddenly, you have added depth to your response. So, this layer is incredibly important because it helps you move beyond the main object and start talking about the people involved. Okay? And layer four, connect. Okay? Here, you have to compare the unusual situation with everyday life. You should ask yourself, why does this seem strange? Normally, people bring shopping bags into supermarket, not bicycles. That's why this situation immediately catches everyone's attention. So it's just an example I'm giving you. Or you can tell like people usually walk their dogs in the park. So seeing someone walking a pet duck is definitely unexpected. Can you identify the difference? You're connecting the unusual situation to something ordinary. This makes your explanation feel logical rather than random. And that's exactly what examiners like to hear. And layer 5 is evaluate. You have to give your opinion about the situation, not a personal preference. And evaluation. For example, hopefully everything ends safely. Although it looks unusual, there may actually be a reasonable explanation. I think the situation will probably have a positive ending because everyone seems calm. Or you can say, like, this experience is likely to become a funny memory of everyone involved. So, this final layer brings your response to a natural conclusion instead of ending abruptly. So, it tells the examiner, I'm finished. And trust me, that sounds much better than stopping with, yeah, that's all. Okay, so remember layer 1 talks about what is unusual, layer 2 talks about what it could mean, that means interpret, and layer 3 it talks about how does it affect other people. Layer 4 says why is it different from normal life, and layer 5 what's my overall opinion or the evaluation. That's it. Five simple questions, one powerful response, and the best part, you don't need to memorize fancy vocabulary. You just need to think differently. Okay? Many students ask me, what if I don't have enough ideas? Here's the good news, fluency is not about speaking fast, it's about allowing one idea to naturally create the next. Look at what happened here, okay? The unusual action led to possible explanation, and those explanations can lead to people's reactions. Those reactions, it can lead to a comparison with everyday life. That comparison lead to another opinion. Can you see the flow here? So here you're not forcing a new idea. Each layer naturally created the next one. That's what makes the response more smooth. Okay, so when you're practicing at home, don't even think about English for the first few seconds. Instead, ask yourself these five questions. What stands out immediately? What could explain this? How are other people affected? Why is this different from normal life? How could I conclude this? Once you answer those questions in your mind, the English becomes much easier because you're no longer searching for words, right? You're simply explaining your thoughts, and that's exactly what confident speakers do. If there is one thing I want you to remember from today's lesson, it's this. Band 12 speakers don't say more, they explain better. Anyone can describe a picture, but not everyone can make that picture make sense. So the next time you practice task 8, don't ask yourself, what else can I describe? Just ask yourself, what else can I explain? That one small shift can completely change the quality of your answer. Okay, so that's all for today's video. Kindly like, share, and subscribe for more self-help tips. See you in the next video. Bye bye.